They never did any of that. And you got these guys who are these so-called experts, on social media, and they may just have this, they look great. So because they look great, they're getting people to listen to them.
They're
But are they giving,
articulate, they look good, they sound good.
yeah, but they're giving out misinformation.
I've learned a lot over the 4 decades of health and fitness and being in the trenches with the greatest in the world. And one of those things I've learned a lot more about and how to build better muscle is nutrition and how it has changed over the decades. And that's why I have the Titan meal plan for you guys out there that are confused about nutrition. I'm going to set you straight. Get a hold of me today. The link will be in the comments down below for you guys. Everybody, get over to the Titan meal plan, and I'll see you in the Titan crew where I will fine tune any difficulties that you're having.
The biggest problem with most people is they undereat. When they undereat, they slow down their metabolism. When slowing down the metabolism, your body has a defense mechanism, and the defense mechanism is to hold on to energy, AE fat. So your body will actually, on a lower caloric intake, hold on to fat and get rid of muscle. So if you're increasing your caloric intake of the right foods, you can't sit there eating crap, you will gain muscle, with weight training, and you will lose body fat because your body, if you're getting the nutrients and energy from food, your body doesn't have to hold it in fat. And a lot of people don't understand that. And, I help people with diets, and I start getting them to eat more, and they start eating. I say, wow, this is the most I've ever eaten. And at the beginning, they say it's a lot of food, but then after a couple weeks, they start feeling hungry because now the metabolism starts to get faster and faster. And people just don't understand that concept. Like you said, I don't believe in intermittent fasting. I don't believe in like starving your body. I don't think it's necessary. Like I said, your body is an efficient fat storing machine. It wants to store fat. And if you get food, the energy from food, your body will not store energy, which is fat.
And this is why today I wanted to just keep it on the nutrition. It confuses me that people continue to listen to the tricks. Hey, just run away from this, stop carbs, fast. And it's like, you're already telling somebody that has an issue with food to do less food, where you and I continue to talk about and say, well, listen, we don't need to show you the studies. We are the study. We're at this level and we're still here. So, well, I got an argument. You can't argue. Rich is right there. Rich is the one that's training in the gym. Rich is the one that's doing 3,800 calories. Rich is the one that's 61. You can't argue with me. At this stage, your argument is lost. There are people that are still having the carbohydrates, that are eating a good calories, and they utilize it, like you just said, to keep the metabolism moving, moving forward and burning, instead of going, well, now that I'm 35 or 40, I'm going to back away from carb. Well, congratulations. You just told us that you're going to eat less, and you think your body's just going to burn the fat. It's going to shut down. The body's there to protect you, protects you. And so you're teaching it to go, listen, I'm going to treat you kind. I'm going to give you enough food to recover the muscle. I'm going to give you enough food for the brain, the body to function. And we'll keep that food in there so you don't starve, where everybody else is going, no, I'm just going to starve and I'll get in shape, or I'll just live healthy. And it's like, oh, no recovery. It's like, would you ever go past a hardcore deficit? 16 weeks, probably the most extreme, right? 16 weeks to get ready for Olympia. Wouldn't that be extremely long?
Yes.
12 weeks would be your go-to, wouldn't it?
My
roughly?
Normal prep for a diet is about 12 weeks, yes. Because I'm always in shape.
And then done. Go back into the surplus, because I think they look at you and go, well, you're in shape. That means you did good. Well, wait a minute. We're in a deficit. We're doing 2 hours of cardio, whatever it is. We're training twice a day. We're burning off everything.
Yeah.
And we know that we're in this thing, and we're playing this chess game against our body, going, we're going to trick you so you get rid of the fat, retain the muscle, and make us look good for a day.
Yeah.
But then we're going to treat you right afterwards. We're going to feed you again. We're going to say, I'm sorry. Here's some carbohydrates. Here's some fats. Here's some healthy food. And I don't
chill
think
out.
people realize that chess match that goes on.
When you're at that level, like you, or at that contest level, that's a whole other level that your body just making few little tweaks to the diet changes it. You know, when I got ready for a show, like you said, 16 weeks, I did 12 weeks. I was ready, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, I was ready. I would actually have to cut back on cardio because then I would start losing muscle. I'd have
Yeah.
to cut back on training because if I didn't, I'd lose muscle. And going into a show, I would just slowly fill out. I didn't go like crazy on just carb loading. I would just lessen the activity, increase the carbohydrates for sure, so that I can get more glycogen, pushed into the muscle. But it wasn't this like drastic change of like these guys that follow diets where it's 3 days out from the show and they increase their caloric, intake by taking in like, 5 times the carbs their body's used to.
Right.
When you make those sudden changes, I just don't think, I mean, your body doesn't know what to do with it and it doesn't work.
So we just finished one movie, and turned out great. I am loving it. I love the dailies that we see. On to the next project. You finish, you keep going, you keep trying to go. That's, I guess, a better way to say it. And this next movie that I have booked, this is going to take all of me. This is going to take slice to the bone, all the character development, but also I need to be able to move and grow and keep that strength through this process. You'll understand why that is after you see the movie, but keeping the strength is key when you're dieting. And so I'm going to show you how to do that on Power Bodybuilding. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you over there. But you're
I've
talking
been,
about the highest level. You're
yes,
talking about the greatest visual art pieces on stage. Now
yeah,
imagine, for everybody that's listening to this, if you were if he, one of the greatest legends, only did that for 12 weeks, why are you doing it for 52 weeks of the year? Why are you in that deficit for 52 weeks of the year? We just told you that he did it for 12 weeks to make the very best,
yeah,
and then he would stop or move on to the fixing. I always say it's fixing the body after we traumatized it like that.
yeah,
And why do they, and it goes back to social media. Social media is incredible.
yes,
If you're intelligent enough to watch and listen to the right people, and you also said, I don't want to quote you, but it could be bad because you're listening to people that never did time in the trenches, never
no,
did the grind,
you're
never
quoting me right.
won.
They never did any of that. And you got these guys who are these so-called experts, on social media, and they may just have this, they look great. So because they look great, they're getting people to listen to them.
They're
But are they giving,
articulate, they look good, they sound good.
yeah, but they're giving out misinformation, to people. And this is why I've been more active on social media to grow, like I'm, thank you for listening to, the stuff that I'm coming out with. But, I want that younger generation to say, look at this guy, look what he's talking about. And, I'm trying to give out the right information that people will finally say, like, shit, I'm listening to this guy. This guy did it. If you could take, like you said, in your 20s, you can look amazing. There's guys out there, I said, shit, I was 22 years old in the Mr. Olympia. That's a friggin' young age. There's guys right now that are out there, I think they look great, like a Sam Sulik. He's in his 20s, but was he on the Olympia stage at 22 years old? If I was, like I said, on social media today at 22 years old in a Mr. Olympia, that would be like Superman on social media. But my point that I'm making is, like, I did it, like you said, in my 20s. I really studied nutrition. I got into bodybuilding
Well,
more
you did it in your teens, because
yes,
to me, all that era, that great 80s and 90s era was, uh, we were all so young. You were so young competing against men,
yeah.
the universe, and
Well,
all
that's
that.
what's
How old were
funny.
you there?
I was, well,
19,
the
20?
universe. I was 19 years old,
Yeah.
and that, I look at guys that are in my era, and that these guys are in their 70s now. So it's kind of like, so they think I'm much older. Well, they say, "Wow, you look great for a guy in your 70s." I said, "I'm not 70. I just turned
Right.
like I'm 60s." But and it's funny because Ronnie Coleman is only 1 year younger than me, but he was 10 years after me,
Yeah.
because of the fact is he became a champion into his later 30s. I was already a veteran into
Yeah.
my 30s, retired, in bodybuilding.
I trained with this kid today. He's 29, world's strongest man. And I was saying, I was first in the magazines in 1987.
Wow.
And he wasn't even born for another 8 years or 9 years after that. And I'm like, and I'm still here being able to tussle with the world's strongest man in the gym. And that's what you're trying to preach. You're trying to talk to, but not preach. You're just going, hey, here's a road I traveled. I'm 61 and still doing it at this. Amazing. You look great. You do it. You're crushing 20-year-olds. And so I think what you're doing is incredible. And I had to jump on today because you got so much knowledge. It's not just myself, but all these people around me love what you're doing and want to just get that knowledge out and share that to the world because you have so much to share.
No, but thank you for inviting me on your show. And like I said, I love to spread the word. We always talk about one day we're going to get a workout. One day we're going to get a workout. I got to either get to LA or you got to come to Jersey, but we're going to definitely get a
My
workout
girl
together.
misses Jersey, so I think we're going to be out there. I think we're going to be out there.
I'd love to get a workout with you, and like I said, tussle, like you said, to be out there and say, shit, I'm still training, with Mike O'Hearn, and we're pushing it out.
Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Go follow. So much knowledge. And again, to me, I call him a friend. To most, he's a legend. But again, Rich, you keep doing your thing, brother. And we'll see you in New Jersey. We'll be out, get some training in person because I want to see how we're lifting and doing our thing.
Okay,
all right.
Mike. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you so much. Yeah.
It's that time again to get my blood work done to see where my numbers are. Again, the one big thing for me is I'm keeping track of it. It's so precise. I competed in bodybuilding and powerlifting and martial arts, but that was all over decades ago. And so how can I continue to keep this physique and be this strong at this stage? And so that is by optimizing my health with Titan Medical. It all stems from one thing: your blood work, what's going on inside of you. And that's the main thing that I'm focused about, is see how I can continue to not just be in the game. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a weekend warrior. I don't want to say you got a dad bod. I want to be the pinnacle of the health and fitness industry decades after I competed. And I've always said this too. You got so many of these guys that were with me in the 80s and 90s, and they keep putting the pictures up from the 80s and 90s. I don't want to be that guy. I like the fact that I can still put up pictures of me today, even though I won the universe back in the 90s. That's the goal for me. I don't know what your goal is, but I can tell you this. I know you want to live, and I know you want to live your best life. And that starts with blood work. Over at Titan Medical, start today.